Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of VMTV Chronicles with myself, Kyle Dimond, and my guest for this episode, Mr. Frans Mlambo. Frans caught up with us ahead of his FEN debut at FEN 34. He's going to be fighting for the Bantamweight title in his first fight with the promotion. That goes down on May 28th. But the majority of the interview was about his career with Bellator, because if you don't know, Frans has been fighting in Bellator, or was fighting in Bellator I should say, for a couple of years, where he built a 3-1 record, some top wins, and his only loss was to Ricky Bandejas. And then about 3 weeks ago it was announced that he would no longer be fighting for them. He was part of the big group of fighters that were cut, mostly from Europe. So we talked about that, we talked about the news, how he dealt with it, we talked a bit about his social media game and how he can improve it, and of course this big fight, this big opportunity, fighting for FEN, Bantamweight title on the line. Without further ado, Mr. Frans Mlambo. Okay, so Frans, we've got to start with a couple weeks back when the news came out that you weren't going to be fighting for Bellator anymore. When did you first find out?
Well, actually, they sent me a letter like a few weeks before, like, you know what I mean? It kind of went public like that. But it was just like, I just kind of took it as like, you know, with this whole COVID thing, they won't be able to get me a fight in a while, and I'll get in eventually. Like, but they're just letting me kind of, because my last fight with Tate was the last fight on my contract. And I was just kind of assuming, like, you know, yeah, I'll definitely get, you know, re-signed. Obviously, I was like, I never even thought that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? And then I got ranked number 9 in the bantamweight division. So I was like, yeah, no. So we're all good. It's basically just a waiting game. And then when they got that letter saying, you know what I mean, we're just do your own thing for now, I was like, oh, actually, that's kind of sound in case something comes along. And then that team was released, but like, I don't know. It's just the way things are right now. You know what I mean? It's just the situation basically in the world. Like there's loads of other fighters going through harder things than I'm going through, and I was just lucky enough that FEN reached out.
So is that kind of where Bellator have left it? Like, go do your own thing for a while, or has there been any talks back and forth?
That's the thing. There hasn't really been any talks, like, because it's kind of just all over the place right now. But it just the way I took it, like, was, you know what I mean, I'm not going to be getting fights in Bellator. I don't know if I'm getting re-signed there or not, but I want to fight as soon as possible. Like, I want to be active. So as soon as Fight Exclusive Night reached out, I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to take this. And they gave me a good offer as well. So there was no good reason for me to not take that offer.
You seem to have taken that in a really positive way, because like, so many fans were so confused when, you know, it was almost like announced, and it was like, I think there was a couple other people announced at the same time that they weren't going to be fighting for Bellator, and then it's like, scroll down a little bit and then there's your name, and it's like that.
Yeah.
I think a couple of the others were like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, they've got losing records in Bellator, stuff like that. But with you,
yeah, there's a few of them. But at the same time, like, even like Richie Smullen was on there. He has the same record as me in Bellator. He's 3-1 in Bellator, and he's flipping smoking, folks. So, like, I mean, people like him being on there does make sense. I think Richmond as well was 2-1, and he got cut. So it obviously, there's more kind of political things to do with that. But the first time I seen the list of names, right, I was looking, I was like, maybe the thing is with me, right, I'm a good fighter, right, and I put on exciting fights, but my social media game is weak. So I thought maybe on Bellator side, that's what they were looking at more than anything else. To get that, I mean, that just me thinking. Right. But then looking at everybody else, like, it didn't add up in that aspect. You know what I mean? That's just the way I seen it when I was looking at it from my position. I'm like, well, like, why wouldn't you want me on your roster after me getting ranked by an independent? It didn't make any sense, except for that, because my social media is, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing that I blamed it on, you know.
What is it? Just to go off on a tangent for a sec. What is it about your social media that you think is so poor? You're just not really big into it.
I think so, man. Because what happens is, right, when it comes to like fight week or when like a fight is coming up, people be tagging you all the time. So it's easy enough to just send things off and whatnot. You know what I mean? But if like I don't have something coming up, it just doesn't. It's just not in my mind. I don't. Content creation just isn't the thing that is always there. I always just tend to forget about it, and then anytime I come to a fight, people are like, "Oh yeah, you need to get on your social media." I'm like, "All right, I need to." I post a few things, like 10, and then it just kind of fills us out. It doesn't stay in my brain for long enough to just be consistent in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I kind of feel like outside of fighting, my life isn't really that exciting that I feel like I need to share with everyone. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I'm pretty private, so. I don't know, I'm a bit paranoid of like sharing certain things with the whole world. You know what I mean? It's because I'm like for example, right? I have a little dog, flipping love him, right? And he has cancer. I hadn't. People usually share all that kind of stuff. I hadn't because I don't know. It's just I've always felt like your private life and the other things should be separate. I understand that in this day and age. That's crazy talk, but it's just the way I am for now. Hopefully I change and we get the social media thing popping, you know what I'm saying?
Would you do you want that change, or do you like keeping yourself to yourself? Because with fighters, it's almost like for fight week, that's when you're in the spotlight. That's obviously like all the media obligations, all that kind of stuff. People are talking about you because you're fighting in that week. And then MMA moves so fast. There's another event next week. It's kind of like, well, you get a lot of fighters that, when it's their time, then stuff starts picking up and then they take some time away. Would you rather it was like that? Because you said, you seem to be harsh on yourself with your social media. So
yeah, it's just because like, I feel like the more social media, outreach you have, the more kind of opportunities open up. You know what I mean? And I'm aware of that. Like I'm aware that the game kind of has like a big social media aspect to it, and I don't know. It's just I need to kind of retrain my brain somehow to be more like. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I need to. It will progress. It's kind of like part of the game right now, but it's just part of the game. But at the same time, it eludes me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you completely.
yeah.
I just think that's so interesting that was your first take on getting that Bellator news.
Nothing else made sense to me. Nothing else made sense to me. Like I'm 3-0. Like obviously the loss wasn't great, but at the same time, I put 3 good performances on. You know what I mean? And I felt like I could have ended the last fight. I felt like I could have ended if I got an injury in the second round, which kind of slowed me down a bit. But other than that, I felt like I put on a decent enough performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So nothing else did make sense except for the social media thing.
Yeah, totally. Because I saw an interview that you did before you fought Ricky Banderas, and you were saying, a win here puts me, right in title contention. And then I lost to Ricky Banderas, which, like you said, he's a top guy. And then to bounce back with another win, I get where you're coming from completely, because at least you had that one thing that you were like, maybe it's that. Because I think most fans were just left wondering, like,
that's exactly, because even if you look at that fight, I felt like I was winning, flipping everywhere. You get what I'm saying? And then a flipping magical shot comes out of nowhere. Like I've never, ever, ever, right, been knocked out in my entire boxing, kickboxing, MMA career. And then a bantamweight is going to do that to the Frans Mlambo. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? Things didn't add up because it just felt like that was supposed to be my moment. You know what I mean? And it was kind of just taken away in a way that didn't make any sense. At the same time, it is the fight game and things happen. But it just didn't go my way.
So how much time was there in between getting that letter from Bellator and getting someone reach out to you from FEN?
It was actually pretty quick. It was actually pretty. It was within a couple of days, like from when it was released on this. So wherever it was released, right? When the list was released, basically a few days after that, because I was kind of talking, I was like, what's going on now? Like, what's next? What's happening? And them guys reached out, and I was like, okay, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you said,
and it was a
that,
good deal as well. It's a title fight, like
that's what I was
so
going
I'm
to
going
say.
in there. Yeah,
That's what I was
yeah,
going to
yeah.
say. Like I said, with you taking it in a positive light, it's like, well, Bellator might not have been able to get me a fight, and so, you know, that's in a way, you know, that's a good opportunity for you to get back in there as soon as possible. But to go straight
Exactly.
in with a title fight, and like you said, it was a
Yeah.
really good deal and stuff. Like, how fast were those negotiations? Was it just like, yep, done deal?
Nah, like at the same time, like I am a professional, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to sell myself short in any shape or form, you know what I'm saying? There was a bit of back and forth negotiations, and we ended up where we both were happy with the situation. So it took a few days, but it was pretty quick, like in general, like it was maybe 4 days or something. Everything was on and popping.
All of the
But
fighters
it did change. Sorry, just it did change, like, because I got like 3 different opponents. Firstly, I got
right.
Yeah, because like they offered me saying I'm fighting somebody. I don't know if I can, like.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You know what I mean? I was meant to be fighting somebody when I was like, okay, just the name alone kind of excited me. So I was like, yeah, 100%, I'll take that. And then it kind of fizzled out, got 2-3 other opponents, and then I finally got this one. But then I was like, is it still a title fight or not? Because I'm getting different, like, names and that. And it ended up that it was, but it still is. So all that doesn't kind of matter. But yeah, just to go off on a tangent there.
No worries. All of the fighters that I've spoken to since we've been doing this show, a consistent theme has been, because of the time off that a lot of fighters have had, like, does this feel like a new chapter? It's almost like, you know, it's like a whole new step almost. And obviously with you in particular, with you having that Bellator part to your career, and now this, do you see it as like a new chapter? Obviously you're changing promotions, so that's quite a big deal on its own.
Yeah. A new chapter, of course. Like anytime you change like promotions, you know what I mean. It's different. So it's a new chapter in that aspect. And at the same time, like, you know what I mean. I'm turning 30 in like a few days, so I'm like, I need to switch it up by miles now. You get what I'm saying? Right. And yeah. I think just in general, just the way I'm thinking, the way I'm training, it feels like it is a new chapter. Yeah.
How when you think of it in terms of it being a new chapter, what is kind of the main goal for this part of your career? Like you said, turning 30 now, you've proved in Bellator that you can hang with those top guys. So what's kind of the mission statement from here on?
The mission statement right now is to just not let my record get any more tarnished, man. You get what I'm saying? Not let the record get any more tarnished. I want to get 2-3 fights, and then I'm going to be like looking for the big leagues. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm one of the best in the world right now, and it just, certain things keep happening to not allow me to show that. Do you get what I mean? Even though I've been putting good fights here and there, but I still feel like my potential hasn't been shown yet. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that like I train with, anybody that I work with, they know, like, and they tell you, they'll be like, hey man, it makes no sense how you're in the position you're in. You should be up there, and stuff like that. And they're like, I'm like, I know what I have to offer, but that's what I mean. I was just so happy with a Fight Exclusive night giving me this opportunity to actually show that, because I'm going in there to absolutely show that. Like, I'm not playing no games no more. Because to be honest, I'll tell you something, right? I'll let you in on something that you said. Right? So in a few fights, I was kind of like, you know, wasn't looking for the knockout. I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it comes, it comes. But let's just fight. You know what I mean? Let's just put on a show and stuff like that. But that's gone out the window. Right, I'm taking heads now coming up to the next few fights. You know what I mean? Because I'm going for a sprint now. I'm going for a sprint heavy. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Well, that sounds great. I don't want to butcher the guy's the guy you're fighting's surname, so we'll just call him Jonas.
All
Fighting
right.
FEN 34. I mean, I was gonna ask, are you a predictions man? But you've just said that you're not coming in there to
I'm taking heads.
play no games. You don't get paid for overtime, so I'm
No,
assuming
sir.
that's the prediction.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. Well, that's all good, man. Thank you so much for your time. All the best with the fight, and I hope you crack the social media game.
I need some lessons, man. Somebody needs to give me a TED talk of some sort.
Wicked,
right.
man. Sweet. Thank you so much for your time, man.
All right, sweet, man.
All the best, mate. Cheers.
All right.
Thank you for watching this episode of VMTV Chronicles with myself, Kyle Dimond, and of course, Mr. Frans Mlambo. Frans will be debuting in FEN on the 28th of May, and of course, he'll be fighting for the Bantamweight title. So you can go and check that out on May 28th. Also, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode of Chronicles, and also keep an eye out every Friday at 8 for new episodes of The Violent Mike. Until the next episode, goodbye.